Thank you to all of our educators in Virginia and beyond.
Hi, I'm Addie Schaefer Benko. I'm the Executive Director of Virginia Thespians, the Artistic Director of Creative Stages. I teach part-time in the Adult Education Department in Loudoun County, and I'm a contracted actress in Virginia. As you can tell, I am passionate about the arts, especially arts education. I like to encourage both artists and non-artists to see the value of the arts, especially in terms of career readiness skill development. This video is just scratching the surface, but I hope this helps you advocate for your programs, implement new ideas for forward thinking into your classrooms, and add support for arts programs in both formal and informal education settings. First, let's get on the same page about working definitions. The Virginia Department of Education, or the VDOE, has definitions for the 5 C's as a focal point for preparing future-ready graduates in the Commonwealth. On this slide, there are working definitions found in published dictionaries or reputable sources. The VDOE states critical thinking skills are developed, quote, when they have opportunities to explore issues, develop questions and hypotheses, consider evidence and synthesize results with other lessons and information, unquote, according to the VDOE and the Commonwealth Learning Partnership. Furthermore, collaboration skills benefit students so that, quote, Virginia students will graduate prepared for life outside the classroom when they learn how to integrate diverse perspectives and rely on fellow learners to achieve a common goal, unquote. Additionally, the VDOE shares that, quote, when students have opportunities to develop their communication skills, they are able to utilize verbal and nonverbal methods to listen, speak, read, and compose information for their benefit as well as those around them, unquote. Students can start to fuse the relationship between education and the professional world, as well as how the skills learned should transfer and link from education to future careers of all types. Like collaboration and communication, quote, developing creative skills while in school enables students to pose questions, harness their imagination, and explore new possibilities to situations, unquote. And in terms of citizenship, quote, Virginia students will graduate prepared for life outside the classroom when they learn how to integrate diverse perspectives and rely on fellow learners to achieve a common goal, unquote. Also, according to the VDOE in their A Modern Way of Learning article. So, in summary, these 5 C's encompass many helpful transferable skills to help prepare students for the world and professional life beyond their K-12 education. These questions and activities are just a few examples to incorporate into classroom scenarios and lessons. Problem solving in productions comes naturally when a constraint is put on a production. Issues such as size of a stage, social issues to be delicately addressed, or what have you, causes students to problem solve. Having students go through these problem-solving exercises will help social issues or other work constraints in future jobs. When you dive deeper into a script, perhaps taking a whole grading term to really dive in, you can allow for deeper analysis and literacy skills, which can help future literacy skills needed in many work environments, such as utility of documents or contracts, revising a company's bylaws, creating a new code of ethics or practices to reflect how the culture is shifting or changing, and more. Allowing students to explore and articulate their design process from an acting or technical perspective every step of the way will help them with future project development, creating solutions, future innovation, and more for any field they choose to go into after their post-secondary education, whether they want to be a doctor developing a medical cure, an innovative engineer creating new technology, an artist crafting the new wave of art, or anything in between. Many of these skills naturally fit into the K-12 theater arts or any arts standards. Now it's just thinking forward and linking the skills or activities to a career readiness pathway as teachers. Even creating problem-based learning or impact projects to connect learning to real-world examples, organizations, philanthropies, and more to see the purpose behind a project or theatrical production can make these future-ready connections. So let's break down ways to connect theater education specifically to these 5 C's and transferable career readiness skills. Let's start with critical thinking. Theater naturally guides us towards a critical eye, portraying and telling stories from varying topics and perspectives to solving problems mid-production.
Just diving deeper and having students investigate and use their own analysis will allow them to build habits of more complex thinking, which will help prepare students to solve problems and different issues that come up in all career types down the road. Throughout this video, any of this information can be adjusted and adapted for all arts disciplines. Again, none of this is likely to be a novelty, but rather a reminder to connect learning to their future. For collaboration, for example, working in production teams or casts you likely have students already working on will not only give them responsibility and empower their voice as well as choice in their learning, but also prepare them to work on diverse teams of staff for various jobs. Participating in various group exercises will create relatable scenarios for various dynamic work environments. In most jobs, you need to practice thinking on your feet, creating effective communication, which may take a few iterations to communicate a certain message to a certain target audience. Manage your emotions, think from another person's perspective, etc., like you do while playing drama games and group exercises. Any type of group project can continue to build interpersonal skills, social as well as emotional learning, and further career readiness transferable skills. Continuing on to communication skill examples, the more opportunities students need to explain their thinking, learning, process, designs, choices, the more this will help articulate future ideas they have in their careers. According to Appalachian State, students who participate in theater, quote, find that theater helps them develop the confidence that's essential to speaking clearly, lucidly, and thoughtfully, unquote. Students learn various communication skills through different theater projects or productions. Even for technical students, as they present and share their ideas to even small audiences, it will help them in any trade to articulate their perspectives or stand out in an interview or share a vision or goals in the future. Think of ways you can hold community events for students to practice their performances or presentations in front of various audiences. The more practice students get, the more confidence they will have for future public speaking or other communication-related activities. Many of these examples apply to classroom activities, but many can also be translated into your after-school programs and productions as well. It depends on the setup and the dynamics of your theater or arts department. Creativity naturally blends into all theater-related and art experiences. The examples could be endless, but here is a starting list that can translate into skill development that will help students prepare for life beyond school. Using the inherent creative activities, students can build their creativity, stamina for ingenuity, innovation, and other creative aspects required in their careers. To a certain degree, all jobs require creative thinking. From choosing an alternative ending to a story to creating an original design concept, these activities can translate to creative ideas and problem solving in almost any job environment. Maybe a company needs to go through a rebranding, so they need creative designers. Perhaps a company needs to boost sales or think of ways to engage their customers in new ways. These examples can all lead back to similar scenarios in theatrical or other arts projects or productions where students had to act creatively as designers, engineers, performers, and the like. According to Psychology Today, quote, the power of the arts and storytelling, theater or otherwise, can change minds. Stories are a non-threatening way for us to explore different perspectives we might not encounter in our lives or see positive representations of out-group members, unquote. This is a great illustration of the importance of the arts and how they prepare us for the real world. Not only do they provide opportunities for career or future readiness, but they also build citizenship awareness. The more you can connect given products or theater aspects to the outside world or real connections, the deeper the learning, and the more students will open their minds to other perspectives. According to the Boston Globe, the Penn State College of Medicine now has their doctors in training taking art classes. They share that, quote, professors argue that engaging in the arts during medical school, whether through required courses or extracurricular activities, is valuable in developing essential skills that doctors need, like critical thinking and observational and communication skills, as well as bias awareness and empathy, unquote. The arts are a basis for the 5 C's in the classroom as well as the workforce. I personally believe that theater arts can also be the basis for STEM initiative and concepts. Furthermore, according to the National After School Association, quote, the addition of art can provide other avenues for young people to experience success in STEM and aid them in learning experiences they need to be successful in the 21st century. Additionally, it can provide non-science professionals with the inspiration that they need to add STEM to their curriculum. If the addition of art provides another means of motivation for STEM learning, then STEAM does not take anything away from STEM, but only adds to it, unquote. Also, according to a Forbes article, the next wave of learners, quote, to adequately prepare for the future workforce, another acronym, is gaining popularity. STEAM, which adds arts to the mix. Proponents of STEAM education recognizes the importance of creativity and innovation in the future to solve our problems. STEAM creates a person more ready to meet the ingenuity demands of our economy, unquote. A great strategy for this would be partnering with core subject teachers, teachers of other disciplines within or outside of the arts, local organizations, special interest groups, etc., for productions or other theater or art projects. Edutopia believes, quote, if we are teaching STEM, we are also inherently teaching the arts. For those students who may not be motivated by the math, the science, or even the technology, it may be the creative piece that gives them the spark they need to truly engage. As educators and indeed as a society, we need creative people in STEM fields. And if we're not showing students the creativity in what they're doing and how it allows them to explore their own creative interests, then we're not giving them the full picture of what it means to work in a STEM field, unquote. Incorporating career readiness skills is also incorporating other subjects and can be a best practice for fusing learning and topics for students. Theater naturally embeds this concept as we tell stories of other peoples, cultures, times, places, settings, and more. So now you can dive deeper and allow your students to explore on a larger scale or with a greater purpose. Then they can leave your classroom not just with more theater experience, but also a bit more theatrical for the workforce, meaning that they have skills they can translate into almost any existing or future creative field. I recall that during my grad school teacher and training experience, I was once told by a previous professor that we as teachers are preparing students for a world and industries that do not yet exist. This is paraphrased, but the idea was sound. The world is forever changing and adapting around us. If we teach students to learn, grow, and adapt, aren't we even better preparing them for what's next? This is just a starting point, an initial list of ideas. I am sure the more you start mapping out your year and these future-ready concepts, the more the ideas will pour out into your activities and lesson plans. It is a great reminder to remember the purpose of education, to prepare students for their futures and the professional world. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found something useful or heard a great reminder.